Hey everyone, it's Scott Norris here. Now, my video today is going to be based on custom forms, but it's something that I've had a lot of customers ask recently, and that's about, putting breakdowns of costs actually on the request form itself. Now, VRA has its availability to be able to show costs, and if we have a look here, we can look at a catalog. I'll just choose a standard catalog item, like this one. And we can see that we can update the price down here. It'll show how much that's going to be. We can view the price details here, and it comes through and gives us a breakdown. Now, obviously, that's fairly basic, and people want to see more about the breakdown of overhead charges. Like, what about support and everything else? Like, how much is this machine actually going to cost me? Now, that doesn't work on a standard form, but with custom forms or even XS previously, is that we can pull costs from anywhere at the end of the day. Anything that's got a REST interface, whatever the costing system or tool set within the business, we can pull those costs back into the form and display them at request time. So what I'm going to do is I've created a catalog item with a custom form, which is for a customer of mine, and purely as a proof of concept. Is this what we want to see? Make sure the numbers add up, and make sure it all works. So I just thought I'd share that and show you what's possible, obviously. So let's have a look at that catalog item. So if we have a look at AWS offerings, so this is specifically AWS. Now again, we can do this with any AWS, Azure, or vSphere, and we have a look at the request form. So this is going to be doing multiple things. The initial one, which is project, now I've actually tied that into my existing project framework, which you may have seen on many of my other videos. So I'm just using that within my own lab as a way to go, okay, well, how much funds do I actually have, and can I spend it? The second one is, filling out the details of the machine. What's my instance type size? What's my storage type? How much storage do I want? What's my lease days, number of instances, environment, and do I require backup? So what I'm going to do here is we'll be able to see all these change. Now, obviously, I can, I'll probably want to reduce the decimal places down to 2, but that's more fine tuning. So if we have a look, I'll choose my project. I've got 1, which is great. It's going to go away and grab the code as well as how much funds I've got. So I've got $2,084 to play with. Oh, yeah, $2,084. And I want to go, okay, well, I've only got 3 in here at the moment. But I go, I want T2 medium. We'll see our instance size change, and as well as our environment costs. So what's happening here is this is grabbing the instance cost from someone's rate card. Now, if you were just doing RRP, sure, I could grab it straight from the internet, if the organization had access, if the system had access to it directly, and also the environment cost is a percentage of the overall cost, and then maintenance cost is how much is my labor for these machines that I'm provisioning over the top, and then it gives us a total. So I'm going to choose, I'm going to want storage, so I want general purpose. I'll have 100 gig drive, and we'll see that change. Now we want days, so at the moment it's only 1 day. Maybe I'm doing a 90-day project, so let's do 90 days there. And again, we see all the costs changing, and number of instances. So I've only got 1 here, so maybe we want 5. As an example. Now we'll see that that's actually now more than what I've got total up here. And if I go, okay, no, I actually want these to be backed up, so I'm going to click backup. We'll see that the backup cost now gets added in there, and it's now at 6,222. And I go, yep, I agree, this project will be charged the totals displayed on this request, and I want to submit. That's going to validate and obviously highlight an error. So that's coming back saying, the requested cost of this is more than what's currently available. Awesome. So, you know, this is, you know, giving you a very, you know, high level overview of what's been done. But if we go, okay, well, actually, I do want to request this. So let's go 2 days, 1 instance, and, you know, I only want 10 gig of storage. Awesome. It's going to cost me $23. And let's submit that. And that's going to go through and submit. Now let's have a look at the actual form, see how we've done that. So let's go to our design and look at the custom form. Now, if you look at within about a week or so, I'll have a blog on my a blog post on my actual blog, virtualizeme.net.au, and I'll actually have the files that you can download. So I'll export the YAML, the CSS, as well as the VRO packages that I have in the back. Now, you won't be able to use the project one because, you know, it's based on etcd and specific to my environment, but at the same time, you know, you can get the general gist of how this all hangs together. Now, we can see we've got all these. I've got a few, you know, hidden ones down here that you can't really see. So obviously project, we've got the drop down, it's got external sources of value. I won't cover this off too much because the project's custom to my environment. Current OS, so this one is value is set specifically to Linux because that's what the AMI I'm using on the back end image. So I thought I'd just hard set that. And again, because in VRA, you can't, on the AWS side, you can't choose the AMI at provisioning time, and it's already preset as part of the blueprint. So, you know, I know this is going to be Linux all the time. We can have a look at the instance type. Now, this is just going to get, you know, return instance types. So that could come from anywhere. I've actually got it set as configuration elements in here, and I've actually added a bit of a framework to allow us to add to those, and I'll show you those after I've finished here. We've got our storage type, same thing, drop down with external source, saying return storage. Cost per gigabyte, again, this is going to be going away. Sorry, that's nothing because we actually enter that. That's my bad. Lease days, again, we enter that. Number of instances, we enter that, and environment, again, it goes and selects the environment. Backup required, just a simple checkbox, nothing hard there, but when it relates to this backup cost, we see we've got a conditional value saying if that backup tick equals yes, then show, if not, then hide. And I've actually got, we'll see the default value here, the bunch of numbers going in, and we can actually see there that I've got backup required going in there. So if backup required is ticked, or not ticked, sorry, it's always going to show as 0. So it's never counting to the total cost. We'll have a look at the instance costs. Again, this will go off and grab the return cost of UI. It needs the exchange rate and a bunch of other things. Now I've actually got exchange rate here, which is a hidden field. Now I could feed that in, you know, that my actions could go and get that if I wanted to, but I thought I'd just have an external action to go and get that anyway, and then I can just feed it in, so I'm not into multiple fields, which I need to. Then we got environment cost, again, you know, just a simple action going away, feeding in the cost and returning me, you know, what the value is going to be. Same with maintenance cost, you know, I'm returning a value for that. And total cost is actually using, you know, the out-of-the-box custom forms and computed value. So what I'm doing here is I'm grabbing all those and I'm adding them together. So it makes it really easy for the total cost. I don't need to do an external action for that, it just does it. Storage type and storage size, this is actually what I'm feeding in to the workflows as custom properties, and I'm just binding them to the specific values. So actually, for one, if you ever noticed, it's going to be fixed in later versions, but the when you've got a property that's a integer or a number, it can only be set as a string on a custom form. So I've actually got an external value which takes in a number and brings back a string. So I just toString it if you want, and type is obviously a string anyway. So we can see that binds, and that binds to the storage type field. So they're just hidden away and just doing their thing. I have external validation. So this is actually the one that goes off. It takes the current funds, it takes the total, and it makes sure that there's enough money in there. It's pretty simple, literally basic math at the end of the day. Now if we have a quick look at, you know, some of the pricing else, we'll just have a quick look here. Now I'm going to post all these on my blog anyway. We can see that return storage type, so let's look at return environment cost. So I'm adding 15% surcharge to this. Now again, this is really just a POC. You might grab that from an external source just so you never have to go in here and change this, right? You can see that we're grabbing the resource element, and I'm timesing by the amount of days because I want the environment cost. Exchange rate, again, I'm just grabbing a resource element. Now what's cool about these is I can go, okay, well, let's go back to this, and I actually go back to my catalog, go environment management. Okay, right, I want to, you know, add edit the exchange rate. So this is actually going to say, look, it's at 1.4 at the moment, I want it 1.35, and submit that. Now that's going to go off and actually change, and mean it will affect the value directly within that form that I just created. And same with these, you know, I can add additional instance. Now we can choose our cloud, AWS, a type of server, which is a server instance name. Now I'll delete this afterwards, but you know, you can go, let's just do m4.medium. Now again, you could pull these all live. I just thought I'd give the opportunity for the people to be able to manage these and add their costs of their own rate cards. But this is just an example of how you could manage it through VRA as well, having a whole little platform there. VCP count, I don't know what the actual count is, but let's do 8, 4 and 8 as an example. Maybe this is, you know, 0.23, and this is 0.34 as an example. And that's hourly cost, by the way. I probably should put that in there. I submit that. They'll actually go off and add the instance in. Yep, so that's run. And now if I went back to that form that I had as an example, loading. We can see I've got my M4 large there as the type, and we can see the instance costs come through. So, you know, that's pretty cool, but really at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where it grabs that information from. We just can grab it and display it. Obviously, one downside is that for these, even though you can't change these costs, they're read-only, it still keeps the arrows there, which I don't like. That's alright, you know, at the end of the day, things like that will be fixed. And yeah, that's really it. So, you know, this is a good custom forms example, how you can show back the breakdown of costs, and then do the provisioning on that. Again, I'll share all the packages and whatnot. Look out for my blog in about a week when I get some time. I'll put it all up there as well and have the links. Anyway, have a good one. Cheers, bye.